Rich in nutrition, soybean products have always been an important food source in Hong Kong. In the 1950s and 60s, a lot of people couldn't afford to buy pork or eggs, so they would consume soybean products like soy milk and tofu to get their protein. Thus, the soybean business prospered, with the city housing more than 100 soybean product factories. But that number has dropped to less than 10 these days. Rene So's soybean factory is over a century old. Originally located at Canton Road, it later moved to Sham Shui Po and has since been a part of the local community's collective memory. In the 1960s, there's a pier in Sham Shui Po where many laborers worked. After work, they would always come over to the factory to get some iced soy milk or Chinese herb tea in order to cool down. Back then, sodas or other ice drinks weren't readily available, so a cup of soy milk, which costed just a couple of cents, was already a wonderful afternoon for them. Most traditional shops back in the day had a special tradition. Owners tended to live right behind their shops, and they saw those who worked for them as more than just employees. The ceiling height is quite high in our shop compared to the ones these days. Right there, you can see a small attic with a green fence. Since a lot of our staff didn't have the opportunity to apply for public housing during the 1960s, they would live here in the store. A perfect cup of soy milk is tasty and smooth. While many soybean shops have transitioned to the use of machines, Rene's shop insists on using manual stone mill grinding. The traditional steps of making tofu pudding include soaking the soybeans, grinding, sieving, boiling, and finally mixing the gypsum powder, which creates a special texture for the tofu. In tofu pudding shops, the tofu is always stored inside wooden barrels. But why aren't they placed in materials like stainless steel or plastic? Rene said the wooden barrels have a warming effect. This allows the newly made tofu to stay warm for a longer period of time, while materials like stainless steel will make the tofu lose its warmth very quickly. Today, tofu pudding can come in all kinds of flavors. But here, the shop maintains the traditional style of adding just bits of brown sugar. That way, you can taste the natural sweetness of the soybeans. Rene pointed out that more and more Hong Kongers are becoming interested in locally made products. It's increasingly common for the city's youngsters to seek out Hong Kong's traditional foods. She renovated parts of her shop in order to attract the new generation, but hopes to keep the original flavor of her brand, a flavor of the city's childhood memories.